Anxiety or anxiety disorder. A mental health disorder characterized by feelings of worry, anxiety, or fear that are strong enough to interfere with one's daily activities. Examples of anxiety disorders include panic attacks, obsessive compulsive disorder, and post-traumatic stress disorder. Symptoms include stress that's out of proportion to the impact of the event, inability to set aside a worry, and restlessness. Treatment includes counseling or medications, including antidepressants. Anxiety disorder. Anxiety. So I've always been a very anxious person growing up. I overanalyze every situation and every interaction. My OCD and how I process things really affects my focus and my emotional state throughout the day, and that leads to waves of depression, which I've dealt with in the past and I've learned to deal with today, and that's what I'm here to talk about. I know everyone's different and I know everyone will receive this differently, so use what works for you. These are what work for me. And side note, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a psychologist. I'm just a normal guy who has been through it. So here are my 5 tips to deal with anxiety. I have a list. Step 1, meditation. Well, growing up, I didn't really meditate. I didn't understand the concept of it. I didn't know what it was about. I didn't know what it was for. I just thought it was a lot of ohms and sound effects and sitting and breathing, and I thought it was something that only other cultured people do. But after practicing it myself, it really helps me clear my mind. People who have anxiety, we tend to be stuck in our heads, so we'll be overthinking a conversation, for example. What is someone's social cues or body language telling me? And you get so focused on all of the little things that you can't be present, which really just takes you out of the moment and causes a lot of stress or panic for my next conversation, and it just builds up over time. So with meditation, learning to clear my mind has really helped me not worry about those things, not think about those things. When I start to panic or when I start to worry, I kind of remind myself of another time I've meditated or just breathed and realize that I'm not my thoughts, I'm not my worries, I'm not my panic, if that makes sense. Meditation has also helped me realize that I am in control of my mind, even though I still get nervous or worry just because of who I am as a person. I'm very shy or introverted in general. Step 2, making and following a schedule. So people with anxiety, we tend to get stuck in our heads again, and when we do, we just get lost. We get overwhelmed with what's next in our life. We get lost with what's our next meal. We get stuck with when am I going to interact with someone again, and when do I have to mentally plan for that. So making a schedule and seeing your thoughts on paper help you ease the stress of the mind a bit, because your thoughts are all written down. You know what to do next. You just take a look, you read it, you're like, okay, I don't have to think about it, it's there already. So by making a schedule, it lets the paper do the thinking for you. I write a schedule every day of my 9 to 5, and from there I just kind of enjoy myself because I know most of the bigger things that are stressful to me in my life are done because of that schedule. Step 3, being more vocal and honest with the people around you. I have a really hard time expressing how I feel with people, and I'm a very prideful, stubborn person, so it takes a lot for me to confess or tell people how I feel, because I believe that I can do it on my own, I don't need anyone. But throughout the years, I've realized that when I talk to people and I'm honest with them, if I'm anxious about something, or if I'm nervous, or if I'm overthinking it, I will literally tell someone like, hey, I need some space right now, or hey, I'm feeling anxious, please understand. Hey, I'm not mentally in a good place right now. And most of the time they understand, and because they understand, they're just willing to be there and sit there and just hang out, and it's not about anything that could cause that anxiety or stress. There's this fear of, oh, they'd think I'm weird, they wouldn't understand, but luckily in this day and age, people get it more. Be honest, talk to them, be vocal. Step 4, find healthy hobbies that help you focus in on something or not be stuck in your head. And that sounds obvious, but a lot of people with anxiety, they can't think of any way out. When I'm playing something like chess or Connect 4 or Tic-Tac-Toe or Super Smash Bros. Or some kind of video game, I'm invested in it and I'm not thinking about anything, which is great. It's like a different way of meditation where I'm just so invested in the story or so invested in what I'm doing that my brain doesn't go all over the place and give me that anxiety or give me those waves of depression that come here and there. In moderation, of course, not letting it take over your life and doing nothing. Also things like volunteering or sports or shows, like comedy shows or live theatrical performances, like any type of entertainment. Volunteering is something that's always helped me because I realize that life is more than myself. When I give back to others, I feel good. I realize that my problems aren't as big as I make them to be. I highly recommend volunteering. It just gives you a deeper sense of humanity and just helps yourself, helps your soul. With sports, it's the same thing as like video games. You're just focused, and working with a team is really nice too. Just realizing that there are people who do support you and people who do rely on you. So it's a nice way to get out of your own head and realize that you have to be a team player. You have to think about other people in a healthy way to work together in that setting. So sports, any type of co-op game or something that you have to do to work together, like team building stuff, is always really nice too. And comedy shows are the same thing as like entertainment, something that I'm invested in, but specifically I like comedy because one, it just makes me laugh. Two, some of it can be very intellectual and make you think about deeper things in life in a very lighter way. So it gets you out of your head when it comes to the emotional struggle and more of like the deeper meanings of life in a humorous way. The last step, step 5, is embracing it. So this one was the hardest for me because I thought for a long time I had to get rid of it. Depression, anxiety is ruining my life. I'm gonna pretend it doesn't exist in my life and just do everything pretending. When I realized that I had to embrace it to really live with it, it brought clarity, and a different way of embracing it, which has helped me, is to shift the perspective a bit. For example, if I told myself I'm not enough or I'm not good at this, the OCD part, I can process it in a way like I'm working hard, I will focus more, I will do my best to be good at this. And even though it can still be a little aggressive sounding, it gives it a light of working harder and bettering myself versus just being sad about it or just being anxious about it and thinking too much about it. And another thing too is there's always the thought of I care too much, people are gonna think I'm weird, I'm doing too much. I can shift that into I love people and I love helping others and I love knowing that someone is okay, or I love knowing that I can take care of someone to the best of my abilities. It's kind of tough, and this is a tricky one because it's really on willpower and it's a battle every day of actively shifting the perspective to see a light in everything. And with all of this put together, it's helped me really analyze my anxiety and my depression and why I feel certain ways. And it's given me a deeper sense of self-love and self-understanding. The whole perspective shift of embracing the anxiety really helps with just accepting who you are and that it's a part of your life and it's developed you to this day. And without it, you wouldn't be who you are. So I hope this helps someone out there. Just a very straightforward, honest approach from my perspective. And if you have any questions about mental health or anxiety, feel free to DM me. I was gonna say comment below, but that's a little personal, so don't do that. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Peace.